This is Mike with New Bedford Guide. We are here to talk about everyone's favorite topic, recycling. So I'm here with Marissa. She's the District Recycling Coordinator, and Ken Blanchard, he's the Director of Department Facilities and Fleet Management. So let's talk first about the automated program that came into New Bedford in June of 2014. How is that going?
The program, as you said, began in June of 14. I think that we would have to deem it a huge success. It has done everything that we expected it to do, everything that we wanted it to do. The streets of the city are cleaner. The life of the Crapo Hill landfill, we believe, will be extended. And recycling has increased, recycling rates have increased. So I think that we'd have to call it a success.
So part of recycling is putting the proper items into the bin. And I know years ago I used to put all the plastic bags in the styrofoam cups, and that probably still happens. So that's an important message today. And if you have questions, guys, go ahead and post them and I'll ask. But so what effect does plastic bags and styrofoam have, like a negative effect?
Sure. When all the recyclables get to the recycling plant, those plastic bags get wrapped around the screens, and they have to actually send workers on these inclined screens to cut those bags off with a box cutter. So it is a hazard to the workers, and so it is really important that these plastic bags and plastic wrap don't go in the recycling carts. That would include like a Poland Spring wrap or a bread bag or a plastic grocery bag. But all of those are actually recyclable. They can be returned to the grocery store. There they turn them into plastic lumber that people use for decks, but they just can't go in the recycling carts.
I notice when you do send out press releases and stuff, you work with Dartmouth a lot. And I notice on your sign it says New Bedford and Dartmouth Recycling. So is there a pretty good partnership between the city and town?
There is. So I actually work for the Greater New Bedford Refuse Management District. And so at the Crapo Hill landfill, they accept trash from both communities. And so we do work with both New Bedford and Dartmouth. I've been finding that we've been working even a little bit more with Dartmouth to help them out. Similar in New Bedford received a grant to hire a new person just to focus on recycling and making sure the recyclables are the right ones in the cart. So Dartmouth recently was awarded a similar grant, and so I'm going to help work with them on that, so that way we can make sure that folks in Dartmouth are putting the right things in the recycling cart, but also at the same time making sure that they recycle everything possible. So we want to avoid having recyclables in the trash, and so that's another effort that we try to make sure we educate residents about that. All those bottles, cans, jugs, jars, paper, and cardboard, those should go in the recycling cart and not in the trash cart. And it is actually mandatory. So by state regulation, there are state waste bans that say those items can't go in the trash. And then also by city ordinance, there's an ordinance that says that those recyclable items must be separated out from the trash and placed in the proper recycling cart.
Curbside yard waste collections. 1 second. So let's talk about the curbside yard waste.
Yep, so that is starting up really soon, and so as folks might remember, curbside yard waste pickup takes place on the day after your trash and recycling day. So for example, if your trash and recycling day is on Monday, then your yard waste is picked up on Tuesday. And as always, you would set out the yard waste either loose in a barrel or in those paper yard waste bags.
So if you have big, bulky items, who do you call?
If you call ABC Disposal, the collection of bulky items is a free service that the city provides. And all you have to do is call ABC Disposal at 508-999-2619. They'll give you an appointment, put your bulky item on the curb the day of your appointment, and they'll collect it for you.
And that's important because there is a lot of offenders out there. I see you'll drive by a couch sitting out on the sidewalk, and it'll be there for a while. ABC can't pick it up; they don't know about it. So you got to call them.
What ABC does, there's a tremendous amount of cooperation between the city and ABC. And as you know, ABC is a homegrown company. If they see something on the sidewalk, they'll pick it up. They'll notify code enforcement people that there was a item that was placed out curbside that wasn't supposed to be there, but they'll pick it up to try and, as a way of trying to help keep their city clean.
So Ashley Bendixson says, hi Ken, and she says, what about light bulbs and paint cans?
There are different types of light bulbs. There are the old style incandescent light bulbs, and so those can go in the trash. But then the newer fluorescent light bulbs, those actually have mercury in them, and so if they break, they release that mercury in the air. So we want to avoid that, and so those can be brought to the city's transfer station at 1103 Shawmut Avenue. There they accept the spiral ones, the long ones, there's U-shaped ones, and so all of those can be brought there where they're properly recycled.
That area is available to residents on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from noon to 5, and then on Saturdays from 7 to 3 p.m.
And I put a link to the website, so there's awesome information over there to get a lot of details, phone numbers, contact information if you have questions. But I put the phone numbers on there as well for if you have questions about recycling or just about the carts and such. So let's talk. Also, there's no food put into the recycling bins, obviously.
Correct. We do occasionally see a pizza box with the pizza slice in it, and so we don't want that in there. The recyclables often take a long journey to where they're going. Some go to China, and so if there's food in there, that can lead to mold. It can attract little critters, and so food waste really should not be in the recyclables. And if you do have a pizza box, I do get asked that a lot, so I'll mention that. So the top part of the box is usually clean, and so you can rip off the top, put that in your recycling cart, but then the bottom, which usually has grease or cheese or sauce, would go in the trash cart.
And I notice every year the city of New Bedford makes money from recycling, so it's good to make sure people don't put recyclable products in the trash because that's money literally going in the trash, right?
Well, all recyclable products, the benefit is that they are recyclable. Metals especially, cardboard, those types of items all pay, a good return. So it's important to recycle.
Now the paint she asked about, I know when we talk about the partnership with Dartmouth and New Bedford, I've seen you guys have those like bulk shred days, you have the hazmat days. So that's probably we're going to wait until those days come up for the paint, or can you just drop those off?
Right, so with paint, there are different kinds of paint, again, like the light bulbs. And so there's latex paint, which is water-based paint, and that's actually not hazardous. So we suggest to mix some sand or cat litter in it to thicken it up. The idea is we don't want it to be pourable, it should just be thickened, and then that can go in the regular trash. But then the oil-based paint, that is hazardous, and so that would need to go to one of our hazardous waste days that we hold for both New Bedford and Dartmouth residents, and the next one is coming up on April 30th. We're actually getting ready to send out our new annual flyer. We send one out every year to all the households, and so you'll see in this nice green area, once you receive the flyer, it lists all of the events, the dates, the locations, and all the specifics that you would need to know to take part.
So it looks like April and May is going to be a lot of activities.
Exactly, yes.
So let's see. Ken, thanks for all the support. Your department does the Veteran Transition House. We really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. That's Brian Conchicao?
Brian Consatio.
Consatio?
Yep.
Sorry, Brian. I'm not very good with names. So what do you do with the Veterans Transition House then?
Well, with any Veterans Transition House, Brian is a friend from way back. So if they have challenges with the recycling of their trash or anything really, Brian usually he'll call the city, and if we can help him out, we do. It doesn't matter what the city provides. A Christmas tree farm every year to decorate. That's put up over here at the bottom of Willis Street. And they have a few locations. I worked with Brian recently on a couple of situations he had as far as his trash and recycling cart. He had some challenges with storage, so things like that.
All right, so if you have questions, post them. Ashley has one more. I run a theater company. When we break down our set and have a ton of painted wood, where can I get rid of it?
Right, well, so wood in large amounts isn't accepted in the curbside program. So New Bedford Waste Services is a facility that takes what we consider construction waste, and so that would be the right place for that. That's owned by ABC Disposal. So we're actually very fortunate to have a facility so close that takes the construction waste, and so that would be the best place for the wood.
So I can tell you Marissa's very active sending out press releases. They post on Facebook, so I recommend just type in New Bedford Recycling in Facebook, and
Yes.
you're going to find that. So you'll get these updates besides the flyers in the mail and other information. So follow them on Facebook. Anything you want to talk about? Any more questions? Anything you want to pass on?
Of course, yes.
Okay,
so one thing when you're thinking about recyclables, we often explain this, is that you should think containers in terms of the glass, plastic, and metal, because we often see odd plastic items. And so I believe that people think that because it's plastic, it could be recycled, but we want to think containers, think bottles, cans, jugs, and jars. We don't want plastic utensils, we don't want plastic hangers, so it should be containers. And that's what the recycling facility is designed for, to separate and recover the containers, bottles, cans, and the metal goes with the metal, plastic goes with the plastic, and so that's the best way to think about it. Thinking those containers, no odd plastic toys we see, no electronics, no dehumidifiers, just trying to think of the things that we see in the recycling. So just containers, that's what this whole system is designed for, so that's what we want in there.
You know, if people should be aware that if there are challenges with trash capacity, if they'll call either my office or Marissa's office, Marissa and our team, and they've done this on numerous occasions, more than happy to go out, visit your house or your business, and try to find ways to help you to recycle more, tips, pointers that might, satisfy your trash capacity.
It's been almost 2 years since the automated trucks are out there. A lot of people still have those blue bins. So Dennis Garcia asked, what can we do with the old large blue trash containers that we still have?
The trash containers, the recycle bins, I
Those
would
blue
imagine you're
bins.
talking about the blue bins. Yeah, those can be recycled and they can be brought to the transfer station. Those are considered rigid plastic. So those can be brought to the transfer station. There's a container there for rigid plastics. They can be left there.
So probably to bring them in instead of throw them in your recycling bin, because they probably won't fit. They're kind of big.
And they shouldn't go in there because, again, think containers, bottles, cans, jugs, and jars, so that which shouldn't go in there. It's better to go to the transfer station. And I've actually heard from a lot of people that they'll use their blue bin. So if you do have a use for it, feel free to go ahead with that. I've heard recently this week, I heard someone who keeps their blue bin maybe just in their kitchen or just outside their kitchen. And then when that fills up, they empty it into their cart outside. So they can be useful as well.
Okay, so this was Marissa and Ken talking about recycling. If you have questions, call the phone numbers I put in the text, and the website link is there. So thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having us.